Chapter 18 Bonfire of the Spinning Wheels. Jingle! Dawn entered the shop, hearing her aunt's cheerful voices coming from behind the register. "The buyer should be here any minute to collect the spinning wheel," Aunt Mary chirped to Fleur in excitement. "Did you fetch it from the safe yet?" Aunt Fleur said, rushing around. "We should polish it up, make sure it's in tip-top shape." Dawn waited while Mary headed into the back office, then brought the spinning wheel out and placed it on the counter. She was bent over, pulling out the wood polish, when Dawn hurried toward them. Let me help," she said in a cheerful voice, bustling into the shop as if she'd arrived that moment to begin work. She made sure to look them both in the eye. "I can polish it up for you." And just like that, both of her aunts fell asleep on their feet, snoring away that instant. Dawn quickly swiped the spinning wheel off the counter. She lunged it toward the back screen door. This was the first time she touched it since that day in the shed, and it felt heavy in her hands and powerful. Out back, Philippa was standing by a pile of wood. She'd stacked to set up a bonfire. Newspaper was stuffed under it. She clutched the lighter, ready to set it ablaze. "Well, what are you waiting for?" Dawn said. She felt a rush of fear. "Hurry up, light it. We don't have much time." Philippa flicked the lighter, causing it to spark and catch fire, then touched it to the newspaper. It went up in flames immediately, spreading from the kindling to the dry wood. Soon it had turned into a proper fire with searing hot flames. Dawn carried the wheel to it. "Go ahead, toss it in," Philippa called. "What are you girls doing?" Dawn jerked around. An old woman in a green velvet hooded cloak stood at the back door. She walked with a gnarled cane and a limp. "This must be the buyer," Dawn realized with a start. "Is that my spinning wheel?" the old woman said, sounding upset. Her face remained shrouded by the hood, cast in shadow, but Dawn could feel her eyes on them. You're not allowed back here," Dawn said without hesitating, clutching the wheel tighter. She held it over the bonfire. The flames licked higher, wanting to claim it for tinder. "The shopkeepers were sound asleep behind the register, so I wandered out back," the old woman went on. "I came today to fetch my new purchase, if you please. I bought it at the auction house. Paid a hefty price, too." "No, I'm so sorry," Dawn said, "but I can't give it to you. You won't believe me, but this wheel contains dark magic. It's too dangerous. We had to destroy it." The old lady threw back her hood. Her eyes flashed with yellow light. "Give me the wheel," the women whispered harshly, "or I'll destroy you." Her voice belonged to Maleficent. Dawn stared at her in horror. She realized that the dark fairy must have bewitched the buyer, using her to retrieve the spinning wheel. It had to be given back willingly, so she had known that Dawn's aunts would simply hand it over to the old woman, who could then bring it to the fairy. It was a brilliant plan, and it had almost worked, too. The old lady lurched toward them, throwing down her cane and moving with a surprising speed. The dark magic seemed to propel her unnaturally. Dawn staggered back, falling to her knees. She dropped the spinning wheel. The old lady lunged for it, but Samson leapt between her and the antique. He barked, baring his teeth and growling. "Hurry, grab the wheel," Philippa yelled. Throw it in the fire." Samson barked fiercely again. That was all Dawn needed to hear. She grabbed the spinning wheel and held it over the flames. "No, give it back!" the old woman screeched in desperation. Samson snagged her cloak, but it tore. She lunged toward Dawn. Her hands turned into sharp claws. "Never," Dawn said, throwing herself between the old woman and the flames. Then she tossed the spinning wheel onto the bonfire. She cringed back, expecting it to burst into flames. but the flame smoldered and smoked, dying out immediately as if sucked into the spinning wheel. "Oh no," Philippa said in horror. "It's not working. The fire went out." "But why didn't it burn up?" Dawn asked, shocked by this turn of events. "You poor, simple fools," the old woman screeched. "You think my spinning wheel can be destroyed by mortals and mere flames?" She cackled hideously in the dark fairy's voice. "Give it to me, or else." Philippa whispered to Dawn frantically, "No matter what happens, don't give it to her. She's too dangerous." The old lady tried to grab the wheel from the charred woodpile, but as soon as she touched it, emerald flames shot out. Her hands caught fire. "No!" the old woman howled. The protection spells had been triggered. Dawn grabbed a nearby broom and fished the wheel out of the extinguished bonfire. But surprisingly, it was cool to the touch. She clutched it to her chest, backing away from the old woman. "Or else what?" she said. "You need me to give it back, right? You can't just take it. That's why you tried to trick my aunts. That's why it burned you when you touched it." "You made a deal," the old woman whispered fiercely. Her blackened hands looked like skeletal slumps. The protection spells were powerful. "It belongs to me." "No, I won't do it," Dawn said, staring her down, "and let you hurt and curse more people. There's a reason they hid it from you. You know what you did to Princess Aurora." "Oh, her parents deserve to be punished," the old woman said, cackling in the dark fairy's voice. "Just like your little friend and me for not inviting you to your birthday?" "No, that's where you're wrong," Dawn said. "I'm not letting you have it. You're evil." A furious expression swept over the old woman's face. "Oh, you want to play dirty?" she said in a malevolent voice. She got a glint in her eye, glancing over at Philippa. "Think you can outsmart me, the mistress of all evil?" Before Dawn could reply, the old woman lunged, but this time at Philippa. She grabbed her and wheeled around. Immediately, Philippa fell asleep in her arms, sagging forward helplessly. "Wait, what are you doing?" Dawn asked, panicked. "Let my friend go. You took something of mine," the old woman hissed in the dark fairy's voice. "So now I'm taking something that belongs to you." "No, you can't," Dawn screamed. But it was too late. "Bring me the spinning wheel before the sun sets tomorrow," the old woman said, holding Philippa's limp body, "or else your friend will sleep forever."